In the heart of Florence, within the cavernous Duomo workshop, a moment of inspiration was about to change the course of art history. The morning light streamed through the high windows. It illuminated a massive block of marble, abandoned and forgotten. This was no ordinary stone, this was Il Gigante, the giant, a 17-foot testament to unfulfilled dreams. It had defeated seasoned sculptors, left unfinished and unwanted. Yet Michelangelo felt an undeniable pull towards it, a challenge whispered from the heart of the stone. One morning, Michelangelo experienced a revelation. As he stood before the block, the rising sun cast his shadow, elongated and distorted, across the giant marble. He saw himself in that shadow, a giant amongst men. It was a vision of David facing Goliath, a shepherd boy challenging a mighty warrior. This image resonated deeply with Michelangelo. He saw himself in David, a young artist confronting the titans of the art world. Michelangelo's David would be more than just a religious figure. He would embody the spirit of Florence itself. Florence, a republic of cloth merchants and artisans, stood defiant against tyranny and oppression, much like the young David facing Goliath. The statue would stand as a symbol of their courage, their unwavering spirit, and their commitment to liberty. The story of Michelangelo's David begins long before the artist set chisel to stone. It starts with a magnificent piece of Carrara marble, a monolith transported from the quarries to Florence. The block, intended for a grand statue of David, was entrusted to Agostino di Duccio, a master sculptor. However, fate had other plans. Agostino's death left the project abandoned, the giant block lying untouched in the Duomo workshop. Years passed, and the marble behemoth became a burden, a constant reminder of unfulfilled potential. Even the renowned sculptor Antonio Rossellino, tasked with resurrecting the project, found himself unable to tame the stone. He relinquished the commission, leaving the block to gather dust and whispers in the echoing halls of the workshop. The Opera del Duomo, the organization overseeing the cathedral's construction, was left with a dilemma: a magnificent block of marble and no artist brave enough to sculpt it. The block, known as the giant among the city's artisans, became a source of fascination and frustration. It seemed that the perfect artist for such a monumental task remained elusive. Little did they know that fate, in the form of a young and ambitious Michelangelo, was about to intervene. The block, once a symbol of frustration, would soon become the inspiration for one of the greatest masterpieces in history. Michelangelo, having proven his talent in Rome, returned to his native Florence with a renewed sense of purpose. He was eager to secure a commission that would solidify his reputation and allow him to showcase the full range of his abilities. The city, buzzing with artistic energy, seemed like the perfect place for him to leave his mark. Yet work was not easy to come by. Competition was fierce, and securing a prestigious commission required more than just talent. It needed influence, connections, and a stroke of luck. Word reached Michelangelo of the abandoned marble giant in the Duomo workshop. He had heard tales of its size, its quality, and the challenges it posed. Curiosity drew him to the workshop, where he stood before the colossal block. He ran his hands over its smooth, cool surface, feeling the potential energy within. This was no ordinary commission. This was a chance to conquer a giant, to tame a force of nature. It was during this time that Leonardo da Vinci, the celebrated genius, was approached for the commission. To everyone's astonishment, Leonardo declined. He considered sculpting an inferior art form too laborious and lacking the refinement of painting. This rejection, while a blow to the Opera del Duomo, fueled Michelangelo's desire. He saw it as an opportunity to not only prove himself, but also to elevate the status of sculpture in the eyes of the world. Michelangelo's determination and the challenges he faced in sculpting David would become a testament to his genius and perseverance. The story of David and Goliath, a tale deeply ingrained in the Florentine psyche, resonated with Michelangelo. It was a story of overcoming insurmountable odds, of courage triumphing over brute force. David, the shepherd boy, armed with his faith and a slingshot, dared to face Goliath, the Philistine giant. It was a message of hope, a reminder that even the smallest amongst them could rise against tyranny. Michelangelo envisioned David not as a triumphant warrior standing over his defeated foe, but as a young man poised on the brink of battle, muscles tense, eyes fixed on the approaching enemy. This was David before the battle, a snapshot of courage and resolve. Michelangelo saw in David the indomitable spirit of Florence, a city constantly under threat from larger, more powerful rivals. Michelangelo poured his heart and soul into the project, spending countless hours in the workshop, his chisels dancing across the marble, giving life to the stone. He worked tirelessly, driven by a vision only he could see, shaping not just a statue but a symbol of hope, defiance, and the unyielding human spirit. The completion of David would mark a turning point in Michelangelo's life, propelling him to the forefront of the Italian Renaissance and cementing his legacy as a true artistic giant. Michelangelo's David stands today not just as a masterpiece of art, but as a timeless symbol of strength and resilience, inspiring generations to face their own Goliaths with unwavering courage.